Hello Omega-verse fans, this is part 3 of episode 11 preview of ABO Desire Explained.
还是赶紧写你的信，勾引你的盛少游去吧。
盛先生，今天有好好吃饭吗？我一整天都没吃东西，因为很想你。盛先生，你还在生我的气吗？以后都不再见我了吗？那我怎么办啊？我想你想得快要死掉了，伤口好痛啊，如果你在就好了。
扔掉。
别这么说，我会伤心的。
I explained to you the preview of ABO Desire episode 11, and honestly, this one looks very emotional, deep, and heartbreaking. The preview shows us how things are about to take a sharp turn in the relationship between Wong and Shiau. From what we've seen before, their story has always been surrounded by secrets, manipulation, and unspoken feelings, but now in episode 11, the consequences of those actions are coming into full view. This episode is shaping up to be less about flashy drama and more about the raw emotions and decisions that will define their future together. The preview starts at the hospital. Wenlang and Wong are having a short conversation, and Wong, being his usual playful self, teases Wenlang about Gao too. But Wenlang, instead of entertaining that teasing, quickly cuts the conversation and shifts the topic. He brings up Shiau, which instantly changes the atmosphere. Wenlang tells Wong that he should hurry and continue writing letters to Shiau. This is a very important detail because it shows us just how broken things are between Wong and Shiau. For some background, we need to remember that Shiau doesn't want to see Wong anymore. Shiau has reached a point where he can't face Wong after learning the truth of how much he was manipulated. And this is where the pain of the story comes in. Wong knows he was wrong, but instead of showing up to face Shiau in person, he chooses a softer way. He keeps writing letters. In these letters, Wong apologizes again and again. He updates Shiau about his daily life, asks how Shiau is doing, and even expresses how much he misses him. He doesn't just write casually, he pours his heart into every word. He wants to keep that connection alive, even when Shiau refuses to acknowledge him. There's another layer to this. Wong wants to send not only his words but also his scent pheromones in those letters. In this ABO world, pheromones are deeply personal and carry feelings, comfort, and intimacy. By including his scent, Wong wants Shiau to feel that he's still close, even when they're physically apart. It's his way of saying, I may not be there, but a part of me still surrounds you. That detail makes this preview even sadder, because it's not just about words anymore, it's about longing and desperation. But here's the catch, Shiau ignores all of it. Every single letter that Wong sends is left unread or unanswered. Shiau wants to cut him off completely. This is the heartbreaking reality. Shiau has reached the point where he doesn't want any ties with Wong, no matter how much Wong begs. And that brings us to the big question, will Shiau ever forgive Wong? The preview makes it clear that this question will hang heavily over episode 11. We all know that Wong manipulated a lot of things to be with Shiau. He twisted situations, controlled outcomes, and in the end, even though it was out of love, it was still wrong. Shiau now knows the truth, and once trust is broken, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. That's why the letters matter so much. They're not just apologies, they're Wong's only hope of reaching Shiau's heart again. Now, from a storytelling perspective, episode 11 looks like it will focus on the emotional struggle of these two characters. On one side, we see Wong's persistence. He refuses to let go, even though Shiau has made it clear that he doesn't want contact. He's holding on to hope, believing that maybe one day Shiau will soften and reply. His love is intense, but at the same time, it shows how desperate and guilty he feels. On the other side, Shiau's silence is powerful. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words. By ignoring the letters, Shiau is sending a strong message. He doesn't want to forgive, at least not yet. It shows how deeply hurt he is, and it raises the stakes of their relationship. Can love survive betrayal? Can affection survive manipulation? The preview cleverly leaves us with that unanswered. It doesn't show Shiau reading the letters or reacting to them, which builds suspense. It makes the audience wonder, what will Shiau do next? Will he eventually open just one letter and feel Wong's sincerity? Or will he continue to distance himself, proving that some wounds are too deep to heal? Episode 11, judging by the preview, is setting up to be one of the most emotionally charged episodes yet. Unlike the earlier parts of the series that were filled with tension, desire, and action, this one feels slower but heavier. It's about choices, forgiveness, and whether love can overcome mistakes. Another thing to notice is Wenlang's role. By telling Wong to keep writing letters, he is indirectly supporting Wong's efforts. Wenlang seems to believe that Shiau might one day read them, and that keeping the letters coming is better than letting the connection die completely. It also shows that even Wenlang, as an outsider, recognizes how much Wong truly loves Shiau, despite his flaws. So, what does this all mean for episode 11? It means we're going to see Wong continue his painful journey of regret and longing. We'll likely see him write more letters, maybe even consider doing something bigger to reach Shiau. But the real focus will be on Shiau. Will he stay cold, or will we see a small crack in his walls? That's the mystery this preview sets up. Thematically, this episode is asking us, the audience, to think about forgiveness. Can someone who hurt us so deeply ever be forgiven if their love was real? Is persistence a sign of true love, or is it selfishness dressed as devotion? The preview doesn't give us answers yet, but it sets the stage for us to explore those questions. In conclusion, episode 11's preview is not just about letters. It's about the distance between two people who love each other but are torn apart by lies and manipulation. Wong wants nothing more than to be forgiven, to feel Shiau's presence again, and to bridge that gap with his words and pheromones. But Shiau, in his silence, shows that forgiveness may not come easily. And that tension, that uncertainty, is what makes this episode so compelling. We are left asking, will Shiau open his heart again, or will Wong's words fade into nothing? This preview is emotional, heartbreaking, and full of questions that episode 11 will hopefully begin to answer. It promises to be a turning point in their story, one that tests the strength of love against the pain of betrayal. And honestly, that's why this episode might end up being one of the most unforgettable ones in the entire series.